Did you know we have completely ad-free early access to all of our episodes? Well, we do. Not only that, but we have dozens of bonus episodes waiting for you. Head on over to patreon.com/ghosttownpod, and you can check it out for 7 days absolutely free. That's patreon.com/ghosttownpod. The Perfect Day. I'm Jason Horton.
I'm Rebecca Lieb.
And this is Ghost Town.
So I'm going to show you a picture of somebody, and you just tell me what your perceptions are.
I would say kind of sultry, vampy, a little like Lady Gaga-ish.
You're not the first person to say that. Everyone thinks that this woman looks like Lady Gaga.
Very a lot like Lady Gaga.
Yeah, she's not Lady Gaga. But if this woman had like a movie, right, like Lady Gaga would be pretty pissed. This is not Lady Gaga, but it is the portrait of a captivating cabaret performer, charismatic public figure, and bisexual femme fatale who single-handedly and infamously pushed the limits of both fame and obscurity. Today on Ghost Town, the wild life, mysterious disappearance, and surprising death of Frances Day. Frances Victoria Schenck was born in East Orange, New Jersey, a Jersey girl, in 1908. By the age of 16, she was dancing in New York City's speakeasies, dangerous places, venues synonymous with Prohibition-era rebellion. These formative years competing for attention with booze, cigarettes, and all kinds of risque entertainment allowed Schenck to cultivate her confidence and stage presence, elevating the teenager, to star status in the underground cabaret scene. During one of her performances, she caught the attention of an Australian entrepreneur named Beaumont Alexander. Impressed by her talent and charisma, Alexander thought Schenck's potential was being wasted in dirty, dimly lit underground speakeasies, so he whisked her away to London, a place at the time that craved daring new acts and reveled in avant-garde theater. Under Alexander's guidance, we'll call it guidance, I guess, but he was rich and twice her age, Schenck transformed into a femme fatale with ice blonde hair, seductive makeup, and a brash yet mysterious confidence that would define her as a performer. So how risque are we talking? Well, for a time she was known to perform only in a G-string and an ostrich feather. Pretty risque for 1920s to be sure, and I would say maybe even now. Of course, this was also the time that she decided to drop her last name Schenck and, going for more brevity and glamour, became Frances Day. Surprising nobody, least of all you listeners, I'm sure, Frances Day rose up through the cabaret ranks of the 1920s and early 30s, becoming the toast of London's nightclub scene. Day's beauty, bold nature, and willingness to push boundaries, both as a person and as a cabaret dancer, gave her the reputation as a kind of English provocateur, a temptress, someone kind of dangerous. She was, I should say at the time, only 19 years old. Day eventually married Alexander, and despite the influence that Alexander had on her life and career, some say perhaps molding her into the star that she had become, the demand for Day's burgeoning fame and influence, as well as her independent nature, made the marriage difficult, to say the least. The couple separated after 3 years, and Day would never again marry. I want to specify that Frances Day didn't marry again not because she didn't find love, because, she did. The next phase of her life was filled with high-profile romantic entanglements, male and female. Yes, we are talking about a bisexual cabaret icon who's about to seduce a lot of very important people. Frances Day had many admirers/lovers/liaisons/significant others. We didn't know who was what to her, but we do know who she was seen and who she was connected to. Let's start with the king, shall we? Day had a well-known affair with Edward, the Prince of Wales, later King Edward VIII. You might remember him from The Crown, or, history, as the British king with Nazi ties who abdicated the throne in 1936 to marry the twice-divorced and very glamorous Wallis Simpson. So that makes sense, right? Edward, known for his charm and love of glamorous women, was reportedly captivated by Frances's vivacity and beauty. Their relationship gave Day access to many British elite, including Edward's younger brother, George. You might know him from The Crown, or history as well, as he became the king after Edward abdicated and was the father of Queen Elizabeth and Princess Margaret. Known for his own opulent lifestyle and rumored bisexuality, found in Frances a kind of kindred spirit. Their connection, while not explicitly romantic like the one she had with his brother, at least as far as I could tell, was actually loving and very close. Then there was also the brother's cousin, Lord Mountbatten, and Prince Bertil of Sweden. Of course, the press had a field day with all of these high up and often related royal figures. Frances Day's romantic exploits were also not confined to royalty. She was connected to future UK Prime Minister Anthony Eden, which I would imagine was kind of opposites attract situation with the buttoned-up conservative public figure. And then, of course, there were her romantic liaisons with other women, relationships she flaunted as openly as she did with her male conquests. She was rumored to be connected to actor Tallulah Bankhead and Marlene Dietrich. After meeting Frances, even First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt wrote to her, quote, "I find I am quite unable to resist your extraordinary and tempestuous magnetism." Yes, I am suggesting that Frances Day seduced one of the most influential and bisexual, allegedly, women of the 20th century. Day continued to rise in fame, extending beyond the cabaret stage. She starred in several successful stage productions, including Jill Darling, Floodlight, and Black Vanities. Her transition to film was equally as successful, with appearances in The Girl from Maxim's and Oh Daddy. However, as her star kept rising, so did her eccentric and erratic behavior. I mean, of course it did. She'd often arrive at performances just moments before they were set to begin and broke contracts with lengthy, gratuitous encores. I mean, she figured if she liked it and it sold tickets, why not? The theater managers weren't the biggest fans of hers, but hey, Day was a mega star, and the audience, of course, loved it. But by the end of World War II, her popularity was faltering. Film and TV was on the rise, and cabaret was simply not as popular. In the 1950s, she made only 4 films, but found a new career as a regular panelist on the British version of What's My Line, which ran from July 16, 1951 until May 13, 1963. During these years, she preferred to spend time with her close theatrical friend in quotes, I suppose, Mayfair heiress Dorothy Hartman, who got grotesquely rich being the major distributor of Buick and Cadillac cars in London. But by 1965, Frances Day completely disappeared from her intriguing, drama-filled public life. But I would argue this is where her life got really fascinating. More after this break. In 1965, the attractive, charismatic ex-cabaret star Frances Day had not only withdrawn from public life, but did something even more extreme. She gave up her identity entirely. Frances Day changed her name to Samta Young Johnson and denied that she was ever the famous Frances Day at all. She cut off all her fancy friends, moved to Maidenhead, and completely reinvented herself. For nearly 2 decades, Frances Day, now just Samta Johnson, lived in low-key, middle-class obscurity, her glamorous past hidden from those around her. So I ask you now, is this how you would spend your later years? What kind of move is this?
I don't know. I like to like to think that I'll just always want to rock and roll, but
You just want to rock.
I just want to rock, but then also I could easily just be like, well,
you could rock or roll.
I could just say, or I could just be like, you know what, I'm good.
You're like, I'll just like sit back in my like lazy boy and just like watch some good TV.
I think it's just, I know people always, I don't know. I always say like, oh, if I had this or if I could do that. And then I get the opportunity, like somebody asks me to like do something and I'm like, oh, that sounds like a burden to like do stuff.
You're tired. You're tired. You want to just chill.
I just want to just chill. But I like to think of myself as one way, but I know given the chance that I could very easily just be like, you know what, I can just back off.
That's really chill and cool of you. You would have to pry fame from my cold, dead hands.
Yeah.
Any relevance. You think I'm going to give up? I'm hanging out most of my life in a G-string and an ostrich feather, and all of a sudden I'm like, no, I don't need that anymore. I want fans. I want to have sex with celebrities, and I want to enjoy just being a complete and utter monster.
I want to have sex with commoners.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You're so evolved. You're so evolved. I don't know what that's like.
Yeah, just regular folk. That's the difference.
This is common folk, salt of the earth sex.
Just common folk, just extremely hot commoners.
Oh, yeah, like tens, common tens,
yeah, like commoner.
Oh yeah, just like makeup list 10. Great.
I didn't say makeup list.
No, sorry. I'm sorry. I misinterpreted that. I misinterpreted what you're saying.
I give to charity, but not that.
No, okay. Well, I'm glad we know where we stand on this. Yeah. It's very important. So in researching part of this life information of Frances Day, it was hard to come by like the obscurity part of it. But I had to know that there's tons of photos of her, glamour photos of her online out. And this is very weird because I've researched a lot of episodes about people in this time period, and it's very hard to come by media, especially like glamour photos of them. But there are so many photos of her, and she's very hot and very captivating. You can see her charisma, like even now, decades and decades later.
This is pre Bridget Bardot.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Betty Page.
Exactly. This pinup, these kind of like ice blondes, like Hitchcockian. But even Marilyn Monroe, yeah, kind of came before all of them and helped create that look, that like blonde, kind of seductive.
What must
look.
be interesting is since she's like such a pioneer, probably there is no like template to how to feel from that kind of fame.
Yeah,
maybe.
Absolutely. And also it's that push and pull of like, she was made to be this person, but she also like kind of gave no fucks too, in a way. Like the idea of like being queer and out at this time seems very, very brave and also a little bit dangerous. And she just did not, she was like, I just am who I am and I'm going to ride it. But then when she was done, she was done, you know? It would be weird to see her, again, all these like beautiful photos, like just walking along the sidewalk in like obscurity. It would be very, very strange. On April 29th, 1984, Day actually passed away of leukemia at 75 years old. She didn't have at this point many people in her life. She was living in obscurity and very happily so. So there weren't many people to inform of her death. But there was one person who needed to know. After Day died, Howard McBrien, a random employee who worked in an office beneath Day's apartment, got some surprising news. Knowing her only as Sampta Young Johnson, the kindly woman upstairs, McBrien was astonished to learn that she had left her house and her entire 162,000-pound estate to him in her handwritten will. The will also included the following directive: that there be no notice or information of any kind of my death, except for, and if a death certificate is obligatory. Any persons, private or press, you shall simply say that I am no longer at this address. Gone away, destination unknown. And that is the truth. Many people hypothesized on why she did this, why she left her money to a complete stranger, someone that she didn't even like know that well to begin with. Any ideas?
It's probably someone who was, I'm assuming, very kind to her.
Yeah, like.
Sorry. I don't know. It's people make connections with people and they don't realize like how important. You know what I mean? Like it was probably somewhat of a two-way street, but maybe he didn't realize like how much like just a regular person,
like a hello, like a hello in the stairway
and especially over time it becomes part of your day to day is seeing that person, and that becomes almost like a loved one or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when you have no one else, and again by design, by choice. Of course, Reddit has lots to say on Day's legacy, but to conclude this episode, I'll share a couple of opinions posted less than a year ago. This conversation is still fairly active. From Leslie's Land Party, I read about her a few years ago and think about her a lot. I like to imagine she just got sick of the lifestyle and decided to start over as a normal lady in a random mid-sized town under an assumed name. Anything besides the idea of her living a full, happy life bums me out. Anything besides the idea of her living a full, happy life bums me out too much. From Good Times in Chino, hard to put my finger on one specific trait, but damn, she is indeed magnetic. 100% certain I would have been absolutely powerless against her charms.